What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Blacklist, Season 4, Episode 10, Forecaster, or The Forecaster. Can't remember if there was a the or not. Anyways, yeah, another good episode. Very interesting stuff going on outside of the main case for this one. But the main case for this one was pretty interesting as well. First, we see Liz gets a little diagram of some sort of death, and then next thing we know, somebody's dying. They're, you know, just exactly like the diagram says. And then, she gets another one, and so they're trying to, find out what's going on, trying to stop these killings from happening. So, as this is going on, we finally find out it's a little girl who's doing this, and her mom believes she's getting premonitions and stuff like that. Well, in once you find out exactly what it is, it does make sense for now. But the thing is, her mom says this happened like 2 years ago. Some of the stuff I don't feel like she would know. Like, I don't know. It's curious because what ends up happening is she has this hearing aid of sorts that helps her hear because she can't hear very well. She's had some development issues as far as her growing up. She's had a lot of medical issues, and so she has to have a hearing aid, and this hearing aid picked up signals, so she was hearing conversations between two bad guys, and so that's why she was able to make the diagram of these deaths. That makes sense, but then there are some where they were talking about like a flight that crashed or a train that hit a car. They didn't really explain whether or not she was picking up on conversations back then as well. It seemed like just for these two, she picked up on the conversation of the killers. And I'm just like, what about those? Like, are you going to talk about those? Is she actually having premonitions for those? Or, I don't know. It was very strange that they didn't really focus on that a bit more. It was all about stopping what was going on right now. And they didn't even go back to that. They didn't even talk about, well, what about what happened in the past? And her possibly picking up on somebody talking about crashing, like stopping a car in front of a train or something like that. But anyway, that's probably the only major issue I have with this episode. The others are minor at best. The one that stuck out to me the most as far as the minor issues, though, is at the end when they're trying to stop the bad guy. Wrestler has this idea to go up to the top of the building across the street and take the shot at the guy who's cutting the elevator from the top floor. Makes sense if he wasn't shooting with a pistol. But I guess Wrestler can be that badass, but I don't know. When he went up there, I'm like, oh, he's gonna take the shot from across the street, but he didn't bring a sniper rifle with him, and he pulls out the pistol, aiming. And I'm just like, no, it takes a shot, and you see blood spatter. I'm like, oh, come on, that's a little bit jumping the shark there. But yeah, the rest of the episode was really good. It was interesting seeing them figure out what was going on with these diagrams, who was creating them, why are they there, why are they in front of Liz's door. All that was really interesting, and the story was really compelling. On top of that, the stuff going on with Reddington is also kind of interesting. You see him talking to this one guy about apparently he wants to overthrow his boss because he wants to run the coal mines himself, and Reddington has an issue with the guy because not only is he all about child slave labor and stuff like that, but also he had one of Reddington's friends killed in a new apartment that he bought, like, I think he said 4 years ago, maybe? I can't remember how long ago it was. But you see that he clearly has an issue with this guy, so he's helping the lackey get revenge on him. And then all of a sudden, he's in the apartment with the head honcho, and the head honcho's like, we came up with this plan together, and then shoots the lackey. I'm like, oh, okay. So he wasn't helping the head honcho. And then all of a sudden, you see Reddington pick up the gun that the lackey was trying to use and put bullets in it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so he wanted them both out of the picture? Why did he want the lackey killed again? Or this was just to put the... I guess it was just to put the head honcho in like a state of, okay, I just killed the guy that was trying to betray me, everything's good now. So he let down his guard enough to allow Red to kill him. Either that, or it was some sort of elaborate plan to, I guess, get back at him or something. I don't know. It seemed overly elaborate and complicated in my opinion, where it could have just been he goes in, kills the guy, and that's it. But it's okay for what it is. I thought it was very interesting how they set all that up. And then on top of that, Reddington gets some new cleaners to replace Mr. Kaplan. Apparently they're crime scene techs, so how on earth did they start doing that for such an evil dude? I want to hear that story. I want to hear how they ended up on his payroll as cleaners, because apparently they're really, really good. But yeah, so that sets up all of that. And then it finally ends on kind of a surprising note, because you see Liz and Tom are in their own apartment now, and all of the stuff going on with them is kind of, it's on the back burner. They are showing us them moving into their new apartment, them trying to have a semblance of a normal life. But at the same time, you see where things are still not entirely normal. Tom still has all of these identities he doesn't want to get rid of yet, because he doesn't know if he's ready for the change yet. But as they're sitting there at the very end just talking to each other, all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. I'm like, did Reddington really follow her home? Like, does she not suspect that he was going to do that? She opens it and it's Dembe. I'm like, what's going on? And Dembe starts telling her that he's scared that Reddington is gone. That he can't get him back. And then tells her, about the cleaners and the fact that he's not replacing Mr. Kaplan. He killed her. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like, this is interesting. Because I thought for a while that it was strange that Dembe was still following Reddington. Because it seemed like he wasn't okay with what he was doing with Mr. Kaplan, with everything going on with Liz. It seemed like he was on Mr. Kaplan's side. So the fact that he was still following him, I'm like, this is a little strange. So the fact that he actually isn't okay with it all, and now he's telling Liz about it, so now she is trying to figure out, what's the next step? Is he still the same person, or does something need to be done about him? I'm curious to see where this is going to go next. First of all, this is a betrayal of Reddington's trust, just like Mr. Kaplan did, because Dembe telling Liz is going to affect his relationship with her. So I don't know. It's curious that they decided to go this way. I like the fact that they managed to take some chances, that it's not just, oh, Reddington's killing all these people, and we're okay with that. It is showing that this is not okay, that this is outside of his norm. Even killing Mr. Kaplan, some people would look at that and say, oh, well, that's just Reddington because he's an evil dude. But Dembe's like, no, this isn't him. He's not evil like this. Something's wrong with him. Something has changed in him. So I'm curious to see how far this is going to go. I'm also curious to see, why is he turned like this? Is it the betrayal of his trust, or is it the fact that it had to do with Liz? Her faking her own death. Is all of that what caused him to change in Dembe's eyes? I don't know, but I'm really, really excited to find out what they're gonna do with this. So, yeah, it's really interesting. Really looking forward to the rest of the season. I mean, I was a little bit worried with the first episode on the second half of the season. It seemed a little bit kind of just on its own little episode. It wasn't really going to connect with anything, but I think they're starting to tie together some stories going on throughout the rest of this season, and it should set up for a pretty good end to the season. I mean, for one, I think it's really gone back to kind of what made the show so good in the first couple seasons, and that's just Reddington doing his thing while the FBI is trying to do their thing to save people. And Reddington is just doing what he can to further his agenda. And whether or not his agenda is good or bad, we don't really know. In the first season, it seemed like it was good, but at the same time, he was doing things that the FBI didn't like, so maybe it was bad. But by the end of the season, we found out it was good. Here, it actually feels like even Dembe is saying his agenda is not good. So I'm really, really interested to see what's going to happen next. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know, we can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Blacklist reviews. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.